Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having an empty 7th house in the natal chart. Now, when you look at a 7th house, it's connected with partnerships, relationships, even open adversaries, negotiations, legal battles. Now, if we look at an empty 7th house, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily not going to have any of those things. It's really, these things just simply may not be accentuated or as emphasized as other people that may have one or more planets in the 7th house. It's simply also not being flavored by any planets in the 7th house. 7th house is not being flavored. Now, if you look at it, 7th house, if it's empty, it doesn't mean you're not going to have a significant other or a relationship. It could indicate that the person may have a fairly carefree maybe nature regarding this, or they're just not real carefree, but maybe just they're not really, it's not a point of emphasis or something that they're always worried about. Now, somebody that has let's say someone has a plethora of planets in the 7th house, that doesn't give a person a guarantee or assurance that they will have a significant other. It could indicate a lot of activity in that area. Maybe it could, but at the same time, it could also, and it doesn't mean that the person always finds that true significant other. It doesn't give that guarantee. If you have an empty 7th house, first, look at the sign that is on the cusp of the 7th. Now, let's take somebody that has Aquarius on the 7th house cusp. Well, this could indicate somebody that maybe is attracted to a partner that is ingenious, original, innovative, maybe even a little quirky. It has certain idiosyncrasies about him or her, someone that has that strong need to be different. And we look at now somebody, let's take somebody that has Capricorn on the cusp of the 7th house. This could be somebody that looks for a partner that could be very kind of stern and serious, business-like, someone that will take the relationship really seriously, somebody that's very conventional and orthodox. And this is you look at the sign that's on the cusp of the 7th house, and also look and see what house that the ruler of the 7th house resides in. Now, if someone has, let's say they have the ruler of the 7th house in the 3rd house, well, this could be somebody that might look for a partner that might have possibly a little Gemini type overtone or qualities to him or her, because the 3rd house does correspond with Gemini. And maybe looks for somebody that might be lively, vivacious, somebody a little bit capricious or whimsical, a person that he or she can enjoy intellectual stimulation with, somebody that maybe they could pick their brain and the partner can do the same thing to him or her. Let's take somebody that has the ruler of the 7th house. Let's say they have it in the 5th house. Now, this could be somebody which really emphasizes the love nature, maybe more so than many others in a particular relationship. Somebody that they could share creative endeavors with, they may be looking for, and somebody that they could just go and have amusement and fun with, such as going to amusement parks, for example, or playing board games, computer games, etc. So it's important. Also, if somebody has an empty 7th house, it doesn't mean, there's other things to look at too, obviously, besides the relationship thing. You can look at, it doesn't mean that the person will never have any negotiations or sign any contracts. It also doesn't mean that the person will never have open adversaries. And it's just that it's a house, when it's empty, it's something that the person generally just may not be putting a lot of emphasis or spending a lot of energy on it, perhaps in contrast to other houses, or which are sectors of life in the person's chart. Now, everybody is going to have at least 2 houses that are empty in their natal chart, because you have 10 planets in 12 houses, and most people are going to have at least 4 houses that are empty in their natal horoscope. So those are some things to take into consideration. And the thing about having empty 7th house you want to look at too are transits. And if somebody, let's say your 7th house is empty, and let's say Jupiter transits the 7th, well, this could indicate a period where it might be very fortuitous for matters pertaining to relationships in general. It doesn't even have to be a significant other. Could be pertaining to platonic relationships, which could include friendships, partnerships, business, could even be business associates. Perhaps in a court situation, this person may emerge victorious if applicable, if the person is involved in some scenario where they are having a legal battle with somebody, because the 7th house is connected with open adversaries. It could be a good period where the person is able to find a strong compromise and things connected with negotiation with others, such as maybe something with a contract or something. Now, it just and also in a progressed chart, if somebody has, say you have your in your natal chart, your 7th house is empty, and by progression you have 1 or more planets in that 7th house, well, in that period that could indicate some activity more activity than usual during that period that those planets are in the 7th house in the progressed chart. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having an empty 7th house in a natal chart. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having an empty 8th house in a natal chart. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.